students. Today's lesson is a tutorial of how to use MixLab. MixLab we're just doing a free preview of it. It's generally made for people who have Google Home at home, but for those of us who don't have it, you can at least access MixLab online. Today I'm going to show you, we're going to do a little bit of a mini lesson first. I'll show you how to use it, and then I will also show you how to share it with me, and then you'll get to do your own mixes. So if you have a Google Home at home, please feel free to use MixLab using your Google Home. But otherwise, follow along, and we're going to start with going right to my computer. Okay, so in order to use MixLab, you have to have a decent vocabulary of music. And because what you say is how you build the song. So it's not what you click on, it's literally exactly what you say is what the MixLab puts in. So it's fully voice activated. So you need to know musical adjectives and musical genres. So if you look at my screen here, I just Google searched a list of musical genres. And if you look up here, Google brings this up right away, main musical genres. Basically, from hip hop to reggae, those are the ones that you could use for MixLab. But feel free to continue looking through all of the musical genres. If you need it read to you, you can always use Google Read and Write, and it'll read you all the musical genres here. I'm not going to read them for you, but Google Read and Write can. So if you have a musical genre, that's a way you can describe the sound of the instrument that you want. Second thing you need to know is musical adjectives. So adjectives are words that describe a noun or a verb. So I just Googled music adjectives, and it takes me to 1,000 words to describe music. Some of them are useful, some of them are not as useful, but heavy, soft, classical, contemporary, joyful, bare, French, thrilling, brassy, solemn, exquisite, evocative, Wagnerian, harmonious, mindless, open, eerie, severe, cold, welcome, low, high. All of these are pretty good adjectives to describe music. So you could look on here and think, okay, so I'm thinking I want to hear savage, or I want to hear strange, or sweet, or gentle. So pick an adjective, pick a type of music, and then the last thing you'll need to pick for using MixLab is you'll have to pick an instrument. So it has access to all orchestral instruments, which we should be pretty familiar with by now. So those are your violins, well, your strings, your woodwinds, your brass, your percussion. But if you click what are orchestral instruments, there's a list here: violin, viola, cello, double bass, brass instruments, horn, trumpet, trombone, tuba. And then also MixLab doesn't just use orchestral instruments, it uses rock instruments or band instruments. So rock band instruments, if you Google that, it'll pull up piano, keyboard, bass, drums, electric guitar. Acoustic is another type of guitar, so something else that you could probably use with MixLab. So now that we've got our musical genres, we've got our words to describe sound, and we've got our different instruments, we'll go to MixLab, and this is how you get to it. If you just Google MixLab or MixLab, it's the first one that comes up, mixlab.withgoogle.com. You click it, and then it will take you to this page. Okay. So this is what I mean when I'm talking about a Google Home. That's what some people have in their houses, and you can use MixLab and connect it to your Google Home and your computer, and it's pretty fun. Or you can just do it with the Google Home, and it will build it without you having a visual in front of you. But for those of us without it, we'll click preview it here, and this is what will show up. In order to work MixLab, you'll have to enable your microphone, and just like when you speak to text, you click on the microphone, whatever you say, that's what MixLab had. So I'm going to end this screencast by showing you because you can hear what is going on. Google MixLab. Okay, so now we are going to build it together. So let me start over from the beginning. This is what it looks like. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Google Home. Now, I mentioned in the little online lesson to use musical genres, adjectives, and instruments, but you don't want to do a genre, an adjective, and an instrument because that's a little too much information for MixLab. So either do a genre and an instrument or an adjective and an instrument. Okay, so you're going to click preview it here. So it already suggests here keyboard, bass, drums, and guitar, but you can use other instruments too. You don't just have to use those ones. So I'm going to start with, and it also gives you different things that you could try saying. Okay, so let's start with drums. Give me a classic rock drum. Pretty good. Let's say, yeah, I like the walking upright bass. Give me a walking upright bass. Add a funky guitar. Change the drum set to something heavy metal. Add a metal guitar. Add horn stabs. Make it as fast as possible. Add a funky piano. Slow it down. Add an explosion. All right, so as you can see, you can add like extra stuff. It gives you some suggestions. Yours does not have to sound like mine. You can make multiple ones, have fun with it. But when you want to share it, I'll show you how you share it. So down at the bottom, it says share this mix. You click on that and it gives you some options, a link, Twitter, Facebook, or Google Suites. So if you do a link, that's fine. It just copies the link and you can post it on the Google Classroom if you want everyone to see it. If you don't want everyone to see it, you press G+, and then it says, Abby McIntosh, I made a song using voice commands, blah, blah, blah. Feel free to add to it. Don't worry, I won't add to it. Choose people to share it with. So you'll click here and then press see more, because if you say GoTV everyone can see it. And then under search, I want you to type my name, Abby Macintosh. Let me focus in on that. There we go. So you'll type in Abby Macintosh, Dwayne Johnson will come up, you'll click it and press done, and then it will share just to me, okay? What I'd also like you to add here for bonus points, instead of I made a song, tell me what words you used. So I used a funky guitar, I used heavy metal drums, I used horn stabs, let's say I used walking upright bass, and I added a loud explosion, etc. Okay? Once I've done that, I press post, and then it sends off to me, and it's ready to go. And then you can go back and do it all over again, make more, or just send me one. It's up to you. Should be fun. If you have any questions, let me know. Enjoy.